One last story I want to hit for today, and this is my rule of law day. I love the concept of rule of law. And I was thinking while we were talking with Judge Erie about how there's always this argument that, really the judges who will kind of bend the case or say, well, I understand that, the facts are this and the law says this, but, really it seems more just in this case to rule this way instead of that. There's an argument that those kind of people are expressing compassion and they're kind of nicer people, better people, because they're making it fairer for some person who we may think it doesn't deserve to be in the position they're in. But it's a slippery slope problem. And then it's also the notion of you have no idea what the agenda is of somebody who's sitting in a judicial seat. You don't know what their agenda is, you don't know their mission, and you don't know what they're really trying to do to America. And I want to give you in this closing segment today, I named it the Social Justice Warrior Mission to End the Rule of Law. And this is just me speaking, not Justice Whitehill, not Judge Erie. This is just Debbie Georgatos saying how I see social justice warrior conduct happening around our country. And I'll just start with, there was the incident in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And there was a shooting. There was a person, a 17-year-old young man, who was attended the riots in Kenosha. He brought his rifle with him, and in a video, it appeared that he was being attacked, and he fired back. He fired his rifle, and he ended up killing 2 people and hurting a 3rd person. And I'm not taking any position on that case at this moment, but I am saying this. The social justice warrior mindset, in my view, the radical left of this country, forever and a day trying to set the narrative before the case is even brought, before the investigation is completed, to use the media, to use especially Twitter, but all forms of social media, to set public thought into a certain direction before you've even had the opportunity, and the court system has had the opportunity to look at the case. This is social justice warrior manipulation, and it ends up interfering with the rule of law. So with respect to this man in Kenosha, Wisconsin, his name is Kyle Rittenhouse. President Trump apparently in some press conference, I haven't even listened to the press conference, but he made remarks that sounded sympathetic toward Kyle Rittenhouse. He says something like, well, it seems like from the videos, he might have been shooting in self-defense. I've heard other people say that too. My point in raising a story is, there was, of course, all sorts of left-wing media in this country pouncing on President Trump. How could he do this? How could he, everyone could see what happened, and he's seeming to defend someone who shot people. And the way they characterize it in the headlines is, President Trump declined to condemn the actions of a suspected 17-year-old shooter of 3 protesters. I understand the media is going to cover events. I just want you to be alert to how frequently social justice warriors, left-wingers who are in support of the protesters in Kenosha, who do not like the Second Amendment, who do not like the idea of people having the right to own guns, who want to condemn this guy. They're trying to set the tone in the social media before we ever even get to the judicial system, and they're actually interfering with the rule of law when they do that. You may recall the police shooting in Atlanta in a parking lot, in the Wendy's parking lot, and that involved, again, as the facts unfolded, it appeared the officer was shooting in self-defense. Whatever they finally decide in that case, the point was there was so much pressure on the prosecutor in that case because of the social justice warrior mindset to characterize it, to claim the narrative. This falls into the narrative. You have police too happy to shoot. You have an innocent, unarmed black citizen. Well, he was armed with the officer's taser, but leaving that aside, you have people trying to set the narrative. This interferes with the rule of law, interferes with our perception of the case, and even in that case, it appeared to motivate the prosecutor to move at unprecedented speed to bring charges. Second example I want to give you about how the social justice warrior mindset is really impacting the rule of law in our country. In California, in Contra Costa County, California, there is a policy which, sad to report, we have a similar policy here in Dallas County, but it was a policy that basically said, before you arrest someone for stealing, before you arrest someone for looting or stealing, the assessment has to be made by the prosecutor. Did the person need what they were stealing? Was it a theft out of necessity, or was it a theft out of, some kind of other bad motive, like you're a dishonest person and you think you can steal? Well, in Costa County, Contra, how about Contra? I cannot even say the name of the county. Who cares? Whatever the county was, the point of it was the DA appeared to be requiring the prosecutors in that case, and they had looting due to rioting, looting tied to rioting. They had theft of items from stores by rioters, and it appeared that the DA was going, this is Contra Costa County District Attorney Diane Beckham, appeared to be saying, well, before you actually prosecute these people, just because they're looters doesn't mean they necessarily should be prosecuted. They have this social justice warrior interference with the rule of law. Same thing we have in Dallas County. We have given permission ahead of time to thieves that you're going to have an excuse, especially in Dallas County, you're going to have an excuse if you decide to steal, because we're going to have prosecutors say, well, you know, with under $750 worth of value in what you stole, and we're going to let it go. This is utter interference with the legislature's role. This the rule of law. Legislators make the rules. We, the people, elect legislators. They make the laws. The DA enforces the law. That's how it works. The justice system enforces the law. When you have the justice system essentially stepping in and saying, never mind about those laws that the legislature wrote, we're not going to enforce this law, they're really interfering with the right of the people to choose legislators to have a rule of law that we all fall under. And in Contra Costa County in California, it appears some looters may actually get away with what they were doing because they're going to fall under this exception. That is well, yeah, but they really needed the money. I don't think somehow if I've never purchased a purse that was $750, but I'm going to guess if I went into a department store and stole a purse worth $750, I would not fall under the exemption. I'm pretty sure I get prosecuted. Anyway, last story in the social justice warrior mindset. I'm really raising these stories just to say the rule of law in this country actually creates and enables and perpetuates ordered liberty. The expectation that laws will be followed. Laws will be written by legislatures, they'll be followed by the prosecutors, and prosecutors will turn to those laws and decide what's legal, what's not, and they will go for prosecuting crimes when they have occurred. And I know that you hear a lot of discussion about, well, what about the role of mercy? There is a role of mercy in cases in Texas and everywhere, which is the judge's role. If you have prosecution and the judge says, look, for a variety of circumstances, whatever it is, first offense, whatever the other reasons for sympathy, there's a huge place for mercy. But it's the job of the judge, who is then imposing a sentence consistent with the law, not the job of the DA to say, never mind, we're not going to prosecute you at all. And we're having big problems in California and around the country because we've gone down this social justice warrior, let's just let crime go mentality, where we end up making society less safe, less secure for everyone.